Welcome to the Juggle is Real podcast. I'm your host, Andryanna. A few years ago, burnout nearly cost me that happy, fulfilled life that I'd always dreamed of. Every day left me feeling overwhelmed with stress at work, at home, and just with life in general. I felt like I was constantly running and couldn't catch my breath. So I embarked on a journey of finding better balance, of learning how to prioritize my own needs, of shifting my mindset to live with more ease and balance, of learning how to do more without the pressure of doing it all. And I discovered that letting go of the need for a perfect life opened up opportunities to bring in more joy. So I am sharing my experience and my learnings with you so that you don't have to struggle. I want to show by example how liberating and empowering it can be to silence expectations, to learn how to live through the chaos of work and family with grace, joy, and ease. So what do you think? Are you with me? Let's get started. Okay, I gotcha. A little bit of clickbait for this podcast episode. I will be the first to admit it. We're talking the F words of stress-free summer travel. And yes, there are some F words that I may use from time to time that may not be PG friendly. But for this episode, we are talking some F words that are going to help you get through the summer travel period with ease and joy and actually some enjoyment. And I know that oftentimes in our head, when we're picturing these things, we're not, venturing into these summer months thinking that they are going to be stressful. We're not planning holidays and vacations and trips and heading on the road thinking, oh no, this is going to be awful. We genuinely want to enjoy it. We sincerely want to have a good time, but sometimes things happen and things get in the way and the stress starts to creep up and the overwhelm kicks in and we're not being as present as maybe we hoped we would be, or, things kind of can veer us off track and it can be difficult to get back on that path of enjoyment and going through with that ease and the joy. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about F words that will help you to enjoy the summer travel. And actually, I'm recording this podcast episode right before leaving for our first summer road trip as a family. We want our family road trips to be the stuff of all of these lifelong memories. And sometimes that stress can kind of kick in and it's leaving us with the feeling of needing a vacation from our vacation. And so as a self-care advocate, as a mom of three, I know both ends of the spectrum. And that's why I want to talk about some of these F words. So what are the F words? Okay. Well, we're going to be talking about flow and flexibility. We're also going to be talking about freedom within form. And then finally, we're going to talk about fun, F-U-N. And, after a long winter, I am in Canada, I am in the north. Winters are long. The spring where I am, it was pretty rainy. And as a Canadian, as a northerner, I look to summer with so much anticipation and there can be such high expectations. And I know I am not the only one. So many of us, we take this time of year and we put it up on this pedestal because it's that time of year when we can start to make memories with our family. We can enjoy the outdoors. We can maybe take some time off of work, put some things on the back burner and, try to have as much fun as possible. But of course, if you're a mom, you know that there's a lot of planning, a lot of organizing, a lot of preparation that goes into all the fun. So how can we reduce the stress, but still make summer travel fun? Okay, let's get into it with point number one, our first F words, flow and flexibility. So within this area, I think it's always fun to think big picture and always kind of keeping our eyes on the prize, looking to those memories. And as a recovering perfectionist, this is an area where I can really struggle. And so I say flow and flexibility because it's so important to be able to let go, especially when it comes to travel and especially when it comes to the summer holidays. Needing everything to be perfect is really just setting yourself up for failure in almost all avenues, in every aspect. And I talk about this in so many ways, but it also applies to the time that you're spending away on those road trips, the summer travel stuff. Letting go of the need for everything to be perfect is so important. Someone's going to forget to pack something. Someone might get car sick. There's going to be a traffic jam. All of this is just part of life. And so when we can go with the flow and be more flexible, we're modeling these behaviors, especially in the moment with our children, with our spouse, with our friends, so that then they can see our response to what's going on that's perhaps not optimal. And then, of course, they're developing those valuable coping skills that, life setbacks are temporary and they don't need to derail the entire trip. So I love to look to perfectionism in these moments and just think like everything is going to work out. Maybe we're late for the slip and slide park. Maybe we don't make it to one aspect, or maybe the itinerary goes awry, or maybe it's rainy when we're planning this outdoor destination travel trip. Everything always works out. So how can we just go with the flow, be a little bit flexible, and be forgiving? Hey, there's an F that I didn't say at the beginning, forgiving. That's a good one. So when it comes to the F words of stress-free summer travel, flow and flexibility are points number one. Remember the big picture. Remember how you want to feel throughout that travel, and then come back to that with that mantra, with that affirmation. Everything always works out in the end. So even if it doesn't go according to plan, it's still going to be amazing. So how can you go with the flow to maximize that enjoyment when things are not going as you plan them to be? Okay, point number 2 in our F words, these 2 more F words here for you, and that is freedom within form. And why do I say freedom within form? This point is all about having structure, even when it comes to the holidays, even when it comes to vacation, and also being firm. Okay, so freedom within structure, having some form, having some firmness, and it all kind of comes back to boundaries. So oftentimes we can go into these holidays and it's like a free for all. We're enjoying ourselves. We're like kicking up our feet. We want everything to be just fun, fun, fun. And especially if you're traveling with children, but it goes for yourself and it goes for everyone who's traveling. Sometimes you can overextend yourself, which then leads to temper tantrums or moods or exhaustion or just feelings that aren't optimal for summer travel. So having a little bit of freedom, going with the flow, but having that structure that you can come back to. So I'll give you an example. My family, we love to go to Manitoulin Island on the summer. It is the place that our family is just like my favorite place on earth. The waters are just crystal clear and so blue and so clean. And it's just this most peaceful and serene place that I could go to. Like I would choose that among so many other places. But when we travel with our family, when we go to the cottage, when we're on the island, it's important for us to have boundaries. And we've learned this over time. So in visiting with family and with friends, bedtime rules still apply for my young family. And yes, we might stretch our bedtime a little bit, but we've learned that when we're too flexible, when we have too much freedom, when there's no rules, our kids go to bed later. Maybe they're not going through that routine, so it's harder for them to fall asleep. They're not getting a restful sleep. They're waking up. They're more irritable. They're, not as happy. And then it causes the following days not to be as smooth. So I say this because sometimes we can really get our hopes up. Maybe we're traveling with friends or we're traveling with extended family, and some of the personalities may clash. Even with your children, there's always going to be be little spats and those types of things. So having those boundaries in place, maybe sitting down with your family before you leave and having, these are the rules. And even though we're going to be gone and it's going to be a new place, and maybe it's a hotel, or maybe we're, renting a cottage, or whatever it involves, here are the ground rules for our trip. And it might be, things like meal times are sitting together, or bedtime routine is still going to be the same, or having a little bit of form within that flexibility that's going to help you and work for you in the end. And I mean, it's not going to the extremes of just being too regimented, because remember, point number one is going with the flow and being flexible. So knowing what is going to be working for yourself and your family, and really just holding those boundaries, being firm with love, and knowing that it's coming from a good place, because you know yourself, you know your family, and you know what's best for yourselves. So that is point number 2. Those are the F words. Have some freedom within the form, and, don't be afraid to be firm with those boundaries. And now point number 3, of course, this is probably my favorite, maybe the most important. The last F word is going to be fun. Okay. But I'm talking about fun for you, my friend. Fun as an adult, having fun as an adult. Like, when did we stop thinking that fun was part of our lives? And I actually wanted to record, and maybe I still will, an entire episode that is about having fun in adulthood. We have so many responsibilities. There's so much on our plate. And I mean, you know what? As a mom, I willingly take on the majority of the mental load when it comes to most things, but especially the summer travel, like planning and packing and preparing. So it's also equally as important, while having a well executed plan and a great itinerary, and having everything booked and packed appropriately, and doing the whole Tetris of your back trunk to make sure that everything can fit, emphasizing areas that you can have fun within that summer travel, so that you can de-stress and care for yourself, and also make memories for you, not just having the memories so that your kids can have a good time. And yes, we're there to have those moments and to create the memories so that our family, our children have these beautiful memories that they'll remember. But do you want to look back and think about how stressed you were, and how you didn't actually enjoy yourself, and how you were just kind of on the sidelines? Or do you actually want to do the things? So I love, there's a quote, and I'm not sure who said it, but it's kind of goes along the lines of, sometimes we're stressed and sometimes we're burnt out, because not because we're doing too many things, but it's because we're not doing the right things. We're not doing the things that light us up, that really ignite our souls and get us passionate about life. It's not helping us to bound out of bed in the morning. And so remembering that throughout your summer travel, it's still important for you to have fun. So remember that inner child, that little you, the 8-year-old you. Who was she, and what did she love, and what would she love to experience now, even as an adult? Is it going to be swimming with your kids and not giving a rat's but what you look like in a swimsuit, or allowing yourself the same flexibility, the same freedom, and giving yourself some grace during those times? Maybe it's not going overboard, but maybe we don't have to worry about a diet plan or a meal plan, or some type of workout regime, or whatever your daily structure is. Maybe we can incorporate a little bit more flexibility and add that time for having fun within the process. My 5 pillars of well-being that I talk about in my free guide, it's a 30 days for you program, and it's free. You can get it on my website at Andryanna.com, but there's 5 pillars of well-being. And the first one is to nurture. And when we talk about nurture, we're looking to things that are just for you, things that aren't, oh, I really should do this, or this would make someone else happy, or, so-and-so said this is a good trend, or this influencer and content creator is promoting this. What is it that lights you up? What is it that makes you truly feel your best? and tapping into that. So sometimes when we're traveling, we can kind of put things on the back burner when it comes to ourselves because we're too busy with the GPS or worrying about where our kids are and making sure everyone else is okay and making sure everyone else is having a good time and being that hostess or being the navigator. But I want to invite you to create small pockets of care for yourself every day, even when you're traveling. So something as simple as bringing a journal with you to write out maybe that list of gratitude in the morning or in the evening, highlighting the best moments of the trip. That can really shift your mood, especially, when things might not go as according to plan. Looking back to point number one, going with the flow. Did you react in a way that maybe you're not proud of, or were you able to respond in a way that was more forgiving and going with the flow, celebrating those wins, or even looking back and forgiving yourself for things that might have happened, and then moving forward in a way of love and compassion and gratitude so that you can truly enjoy yourself in the moments that happen afterwards. I mean, I have 3 boys. They have been known to take their wrestling moves to the next level, even in public places. We were just at the rink, and it's at an academy. So there's like a court and there's different areas. One of my kids got a volleyball, which they weren't supposed to have. They were playing with it. They were using it as a basketball. Then my son gave it back to the person who was in charge. My other son wasn't happy about it. A full brawl ensued. There's a bleeding nose. There's blood everywhere. I tell you this because it's just like, okay, was that what I wanted to be dealing with in that moment? No. Is it something that I condone? Is it something that I was happy about it? No, but it was like, this is, if it happened in the middle of a trip to Disney, that's life and we're going to manage it and we're going to deal with it, but it's not going to completely derail our entire vacation. It's not going to make things, the whole holiday is not going to be ruined because of, a few little moments and some poor choices. So I tell you all this because remembering yourself amongst all of the process, amongst all of the planning and the preparing and making sure all the wet bathing suits are picked up and hung up so that they're not sopping in a soaking wet pile the next morning. You've got a lot on your plate and a lot rests on your shoulders, but it's okay to lighten your load. It's okay to kick back and also to have some fun and to, remember the family and enjoy your friends and really just emphasize feeling good and caring for yourself, looking to ways that truly nurture, regardless of, whether it's in the morning or in the evening or, finding those pockets within your day and making the time, creating the space, leaning on your spouse or creating windows. Maybe there's some screen time that happens within your trip. Having the downtime sometimes is just as important as all of those planned activities because it allows everyone to kind of just rest and reset and recuperate. So don't forget about yourself and all of your summer travel. I want to just end on a page from Brianna Weist, who is a brilliant writer, and she just writes so eloquently. But something that she has written, and I'm just going to read it out to you, that kind of fits in with this, and it is really an umbrella and overarches so many areas of life. But she writes, maybe you don't need to find more energy. Maybe you just need to find a dream that makes you actually want to get up in the morning. Maybe you need to find something that gives back more than it takes. Maybe you need to stop trying to be good at the 100 things that do not light up your soul and finally choose the one that does, the one that asks you to risk, to lay your heart bare, to try again, even though you're scared. You're not failing because you're not motivated. You're not supposed to get far on a path that was never yours to walk. So when I talk about self-care, when I advocate so deeply about it and incorporating these pillars of well-being, looking for ways to nurture, looking for ways to truly come back to yourself, even when we're busy, even when we've got a lot on our plate, even when we're on the go and on the road and traveling, I want you to remember yourself. And I want you to know that there are so many avenues that you can pursue that light you up and that will make you feel good. And one last thing that I do want to mention before we close out this episode is that as we head in Canada this long weekend, We're looking for ways to just start our summer off right. And if you're already in a place of overwhelm, if you're already stressed, if you're not sure how this season's going to go, or if you're looking for ways that might help support you, might be that answer to those questions that you've been asking, I'm holding a workshop that I only offer a few times a year, and I would love for you to join me. It's called You First, Making the Shift to Better Balance 2.0. It's a 3-day workshop happening from May 29th to 31st, and we're going to get together. It's going to be a beautiful, intimate group, 1 hour each evening. And we're going to look at ways to support ourselves, to shift in a space, a mindset that is body and soul, that allows us to lose the guilt, lose the overwhelm, and find that space within our day that we can look to the things that really light us up. I do have some incredible guest experts who are going to be joining me. So we're looking to mindset and exercises. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of the research and the science behind why self-care is so important. But I also have incredible experts, yogi masters, Reiki masters, hypnotherapists, breathwork facilitators. We're going to breathe together. We're going to move together. We are going to visualize a day filled with ease so that you can be on your journey of better balance, whatever that's going to mean for you. So if that sounds good, if that sounds like you want to get on board and you want to start your summer off in a place, in a space of ease and joy and fun, that final F word, then head to my website. It's andryanna.com/workshops. So that's andryanna.com/workshops. And all the information is there. The link is also in the show notes for this episode, so you can find it. And I hope that you have a beautiful long weekend wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you have going on in your life. There's always room for a little self-care. So until the next time, I would so appreciate if you could rate this episode, write me a quick review, and share with one friend who could learn some of these F words and maybe kickstart their summer in a way that has a little less stress. Thank you so much for listening. I so appreciate you. See you next time.